The witnesses are ready, and the committee is also ready, and we just go straight into that committee for the select committee to start receiving the submission.
Introduce yourself so that the honorable members can address you accordingly, and we can therefore from then proceed to the submission after introduction. You may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Solomon Ngoma. I'm the Executive Director for Acton Institute for Policy Analysis Center, IPAC.
Thank you, Mr. Ngoma, Acton Institute for Policy Analysis Center. Honorable members, you may introduce yourself, starting from the members on my right.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, IPAC. I'm Jacqueline Sabah, Member of Parliament for Chirankata constituency and the Vice Chairperson of the Select Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, witness. My name is Simon Banda, Member of Parliament for Petauke Central. I'm also a member of this committee. Thank you.
Chair, thank you so much. Good afternoon, witness. I'm Emmanuel Banda, Member of Parliament for Mutinga Constituency, Serenge District, Central Province. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ngoma, welcome. My name is Nkombo. I represent Mazabuka Central Constituency in Southern Province and member of this committee.
Thank you. George Kasavira Kandafura, Member of Parliament, Serenge. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Ngoma. Welcome to National Assembly. My name is Stanley Kakubo and I represent Kapirimposh constituency.
You're welcome, Mr. Ngoma. My name is Asbongile Mwamba. I represent the people of Kasama Central constituency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good morning, Mr. Ngoma. My name is Brian Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambezi East constituency in Northwestern Province.
Mr. Ngoma, my name is Meshek Mtetwa Nyambos. I represent the Wonder of People of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province of Zambia and a member of this committee. Thank you.
My name is Ngoma. My name is Mivita Anakoka, Member of Parliament for Luena constituency in Western Province. Thank you.
Thank you, witness. Mungando Davison is my name, Member of Parliament for the people of Chama South constituency in Eastern Province. You are welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Morning, Mr. Ngoma. My name is Newton Samakai, Member of Parliament for Murulunga constituency in the Northwestern Province.
Secretariat.
Good afternoon. My name is Kelezo Rushako from the Office of the Clerk.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members, and good afternoon, Mr. Ngoma. My name is Charles Hambote from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, the witness. My name is Aubin Himruli from the Office of the Clerk. Thank you.
Parliament witness.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, witness. My name is David Mwengwe. I'm Parliamentary Counsel from Ministry of Justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, honorable members. Good afternoon, witness. My name is Chawezi Chiro, Parliamentary Counsel from Ministry of Justice. Thank you.
Media.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members of Parliament. My name is Henry Chama from Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation.
Thank you. Witness, Mimango Amnima Jr., Member of Parliament for Nalolo constituency in Western Province, and privileged to chair this select committee. Witness, I'd like to take this opportunity to confer you with immunity provided for under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, which is the National Assembly Powers and Privileges Act, which gives you the same immunity that members of Parliament enjoy from prosecution for what they say in the Assembly. Witness, you are guided not to mislead this committee or the reverse applies. You are free, witness, to make your submission and focus on the salient features of your submission so as to assist this committee. Witness, you may proceed. I thank you.
I thank you, Chair. So, IPAC presents this brief in response to the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill number 7 of 2005. IPAC is a member of the Consortium of Civil Society Organizations on the governance. The bill introduces some progressive reforms aimed at enhancing representation. However, some provisions are inconsistent with democratic norms, risk weakening electoral integrity, and compromise the principles of judicial independence and separation of powers. This brief outlines the key concerns and offers recommendations to ensure that the final legislation reflects Zambia's constitutional values and democratic aspirations. In the context and objective of the bill, the government published number 7 of bill was published to address representation and the electoral gaps. Despite stated limitations, the bill diverges from constitutional mandates and area government commitments, particularly those made by the President and the Minister of Justice regarding the separation of powers, equitable representation, and strengthening electoral institutions. So I'll take you to the detailed comments. On page 4. Article 7, clause 2, paragraph A. The proposed amendment is first post-team system for constituency-based seats. Our observations, we note that there is no change from what is already existing except for introduction of proportional member representation system adopted from recommendations of the technical committees. Our comment is that the amendment is supported and suggests amendment that no any further suggested amendment. I bring you to Article 47, clause 2, paragraph B. A proportional electrical system for women, youth, and persons with disability. This is a new provision. This is our observation and our comment. This is progressive and has been the will of the Zambian people expressed throughout all constitutional reviews commissions. This provision supports the realization of values in Article 45, Article 1, paragraph C and D. On March 8th, 2004, during International Women's Day, President Hichilema called for proposed constitutional amendments to include the PR, proportional representation to include more women in the councils, but it appears that the omissions and the focus has only been for the benefit at parliamentary level. Our suggestion that the provision to allow for a member proportional representation must be extended to council as required by Article 45, clause 1, paragraph C and D, which requires that the same representation in the council, and it states that the electrical, paragraph 1, it says that the electrical system provided for in Article 47 for the election of President, Member of Parliament and Council shall fair representation of the various interest groups in society and the gender equity in the National Assembly and the Council. Article 47, clause 3, distribution of proportional representation seats. This is a new provision that lacks clarity on the type of a PR system we intend to adopt. Our comment, while the inclusion of proportional representation seats for women, youth, and persons with disability is commendable, the current wording lacks safeguards to ensure inclusivity and fairness. Without mechanism that spread these seats equitable and allow independent candidates to compete, dominant political parties may monopolize representation. Our suggestion, seats for women and youths and persons with disabilities, the framework must also allow for participation by independent candidates to enhance inclusivity. Our system allows for independence, but this provision does not. Article 52, clause 1, nominations. Not a major change from what is existing. The provision supported is supported in the form as drafted. Article 52, Clause 1, nominations, petitions, addition of determination and adds clarity. Provision is supported in the form as drafted. Article 52, Clause 6, Paragraph A, resignation of the candidates, bans person or who resign from contesting and elections goes ahead, does not provide the party with another chance as provided under the current provision to field another candidate as currently. Our comment: the absence of a replacement mechanism for resigned candidates opens the doors to manipulation and undermines fair competition. Parties can be unfairly eliminated for elections if their candidate resigns, especially if registrations are concealed or induced. Suggested amendment: insert a provision allowing a political party to nominate a replacement of a candidate in the event of registration or before the election, subject to the Electoral Commission's verification and deadlines. Article 56, Clause 6, Paragraph B, disqualification by a court. Our comment: bans a person disqualified by a court from contesting and the election goes ahead, does not provide the party with another chance to field candidates in place of the one who has been disqualified by a court, and does not state whether the court includes an elections tribunal. Our comment: this provision undermines competitive elections, especially if the courts can be abused by politicians to disqualify strong candidates, and the public and stakeholder trust in the court system for fair administration in political matters has been very low. Our appeal: suggested amendment is that we appeal that the process before an election is held, as once an election is held and the party wins an election, the follow-up court action is rendered academic, as it is the same party that will replace the candidate, since no by-elections have been provided for party-sponsored seats. Article 52, Clause 6, Paragraph C, the death of a candidate. The proposed amendment provides for cancellation of an election where the death occurs and fresh elections. Our observations, our comments, remains the same as in the current constitution. Our suggested amendment supported as provided. Article 57, Clause 1, the vacancy in the office of an independent elected person. Our observations: it provides for by-elections held within 90 days. Our comment remains the same as is in the current constitution, supported as provided. Article 57, Clause 2, no by-elections within 90 days. Our observation: provides for no by-election held within 180 days to date of general election. Our comment remains the same as is in the current constitution. Suggested amendment supported as provided. Article 57, Clause 2 again, date for by-election, provides for ECZ to set the date, same as in the current constitution. Our suggested amendment: improve sub-provisions to be instructive that the date shall not fall within the 28 days required for hearing and determination of the nomination challenge. Article 58, Clause 2, number of seats. It provides for equality on the number of seats, same as in the current constitution. Suggested amendment: provision needed deletion completely as it serves no purpose since numbers are already fixed by the other article. Article 68, the composition of the National Assembly. Provide for the composition of the National Assembly same as the current one. Our suggested amendment: improve the provision to clearly indicate that the National Assembly shall consist of two 259 seats as follows. Article 68, paragraph A. The number of constituency-based seats. Our observations increase the number by 55 new seats. Our comment: the provision will allow for delimitation. Suggested amendment: stakeholders are unaware where these seats will be to make an informed input on the address of the new seats, as the reports by ECZ have remained secret and have not been published to the public. Article 68, paragraph B. The number of women seats. Our observations: the new provisions for 20 women parliamentarians. Our comment: although the addition of 20 women specific seats is progressive, its impact will be limited unless representation is evenly distributed and accessible to independents in rural provinces and unaffiliated women, and or may remain marginalized. Our suggested amendment is that each of the 10 provinces is allocated 2 safer seats reserved for women, explicit allowing both political party and independent candidates to contest for votes, and likely asking political parties to present lists. This discriminates against women who do not belong to political parties but think to vie for these safer seats. Article 68, paragraph C. The number of seats. The new provisions for 12 youth parliamentarians. Our comment: progressive provisions. Our suggested amendment: provision must be enhanced to ensure that each province or safer seat electoral district is allocated 1 safer seat, with RUSAC allocated 3 for youth to compete on, and also to allow youths who do not belong to political parties a chance to compete for these votes and representation. Article 68, paragraph D. The number of safer seats for persons living with disabilities. New provisions for free parliamentarians with disabilities. Progressive provisions. Suggested amendment: the provision must be enhanced to ensure that safer electoral seats are created where persons living with disabilities can compete for votes among themselves, either as adopted by party candidates or as independents, affording other persons with living disabilities who do not engage in partisan politics. Article 68, paragraph E. Let me compete again. So a chance to also compete against each other, persons living with disabilities adopted by political parties as independents. Article 68, paragraph E. Nominated members of parliament. Our observation: note that a new provision stems from 1964 constitution, when they had less women entering into politics and less skilled Zambians at independence. Our comment: there is no longer any justification for increasing the number to double digits in the fact that this provision has outlived its usefulness and should be removed. The proposed amendments are introducing safer seats under the mixed member proportional representation system, creating a more inclusive opportunities for women, youths, and persons with disabilities. Additionally, political parties have been selecting parliamentary candidates based on skills. The original intent behind this provision, established in 1964, has been fully realized. Our suggested amendment is that this provision on nominations is no longer necessary based on the comment we have given. Article 68, paragraph F, G, and H, Vice President and Speakers. Our observation: same as in the current Constitution, no change has been made. Suggested amendment: supported as drafted. Article 71, paragraph B, nominations for elections to the National Assembly. Our observation: similar as the one in the current Constitution. Our comment: no change has been made. Suggested amendment: supported as drafted. Article 72, clause 2, paragraph H, the vacancy in the office of a member of parliament. Our observation: the provision has been made generally taking away the need for the court for the court to disqualify our comment is that it is ambiguity. The current provision in the Constitution was more specific and enough safeguard against ambiguity. Our suggested amendment is that rejected provision in favor of maintaining existing provision. Article 78 Article 72 clause 8, the filling of a vacancy. Revised provision to end by-elections in seats held by MPs sponsored by political parties. Our comment. This provision fails to uphold fairness in cases where a party-sponsored member of parliament election is nullified following a successive petition by an opponent. Allowing the same sponsoring party to internally select a replacement undermines the principles of electoral justice. In many instances, it is the conduct of political parties and their supporters, such as acts of violence, example given the Karushi constituency seat, that leads to the nullification of the seat by the court. Suggested amendment. Amend the provision to prohibit replacement of a party whose MP has been disqualified through a successful court petition. In such cases, mandate a fresh by-election or allow the run-up to assume the seat, or make a provision for the court to make such orders as necessary for filling of the vacancy. Article 72, clause 9, new candidate qualification. A candidate elected in internal party elections meets some qualifications and serve remaining period. Our comment. Under the proposed amendment, a political party is given a chance to replace a member of parliament who was initially a candidate, often after nominations challenges from individuals outside the party or subsequently elected by voters in a constituency. However, the amendment provides no opportunity for voters to participate in or challenge the internal selection of a replacement by a club. This effectively sidelines the electorate, denying them any say in whose fills a seat they had previously filled through a democratic vote. Suggested amendment. Provisions must be given clarity on how qualifications for candidate can be challenged, since these are internal elections of a club. Article 72, clause 10 and clause 11. A tenure office of a member of a replaced MP and no election within 180 days. Our observation, no any change of the status quo. Our comment, the status quo remains, and a suggested amendment supported as framed. Article 72, clause 12. ECZ to determine when new candidate assume office and completion date for internal election. Our observation is a new provision. Our comment. ECZ must set the date for internal election, but it must not be them to determine when an MP must assume his seat. The Speaker sets the date for swearing in new MP to assume the office. Suggested amendment. Revise the provision to limit ECZ to set a date of an internal party election and make provision for the Speaker to determine when an MP assumes office by way of being sworn in. Article 81, clause 1, 3, and 4. The term of Parliament. Our observation, not a progressive provision on resolution. Our comment. The provision does not guarantee the full year, as the first sitting is usually after a month. MPs will be getting salaries during the 90-day period when the Parliament will not be conducting any business. The dissolution of Parliament on a day before means setting MPs campaign while holding their office to disadvantage the opponents. While Parliament does not transact any business within 90 days from election, it does not limit MPs from performing duties in their constituencies. Our suggested amendment. The provision must be revisited. It disadvantages candidates who are not members of Parliament during campaigns. If the intention is to have MPs receive full payment for 5 years, The provision must specifically have provided for MPs to receive salaries while maintaining dissolution of Parliament 90 days before general elections. Article 103, clause 6, presidential petition. Our observation: no much enhancement has been done. Our comment: the current 14-day timeline is insufficient for parties to gather and present the evidence for the court to fully access the case. This poses a risk to the credibility of the election dispute resolution process. The judiciary itself, in its submission dated 30th December 2016 to the Ministry of Justice, the PS, recommended in the previous submissions on this matter that the hearing and termination time of the presidential petition to be increased to 45 days. Our suggested amendment: extend the time limit for hearing and determine the presidential election petition from 45 days as recommended by the judiciary itself. This ensures process without causing a constitutional vacuum, as the incumbent president and the vice president remain in office during this period. Article 116, clause 3, and Article 117, clause 2. The vacation office by the minister. Our observation: the provision has not removed provisions of Article 116, clause 3 and 117, clause 2, but added a new one. Our comment: there is no need to return the provision of clause 3 because a new clause 4 has been introduced. It just adds to the confusion. Our suggested amendment: completely delete clauses that says that the office of minister or provincial minister falls vacant when another president takes office from the Constitution. It is sufficient to state that the office of the minister and provincial minister becomes vacant 90 days before the general elections. Article 153, proposed amendment: reintroduction of members of parliament in the councils. Our observations: a new paragraph inserted to have a new paragraph B inserted to have MPs become part of the council, and the provision is retrogressive. Our comment: councils are part of the executive, are part of the arm of the executive. See the 2016 case of Noel Simomondo and others versus the Attorney General. Taking the entire status into the executive has never been the will of the Zambian people. The people have longed for a separation of powers where even ministers are appointed from outside parliament. Suggested amendment: provision rejected and government advised to maintain current status quo, which has worked well, with MPs providing checks and balances on the councils which implement government programs. Article 176, years for secretary to the cabinet. Our observation: 10 years has been reduced to 5 years experience. Our comment: this is not a very progressive amendment, considering that the secretary to the cabinet is a top civil servant who needs to have sufficient experience. Instead of reducing the number of years of experience, the change should have focused on the portfolio of experience. Our suggested amendment: maintain the 10 years experience while deleting the words permanent secretary and put equivalent rank or substitution of following the word in public administration and management. Article 266, interpretations, revisions of some interpretations. Our comment: the bill has failed to remove word discrimination, which was found in conflict with Article 23 by the Constitutional Court. When you see the case of Brigadier General Mianda, this is Attorney General, 2016, case number 006. Suggested amendment: remove the definition of the discrimination in Article 266. recommendations: amend the bill to ensure court rulings in electoral petitions have binding consequences, allow fair replacement of candidates who resign or disqualified with safeguards against abuse, revise the PR system to permit direct election of special group representatives, reintroduce by-elections and develop alternative accountability mechanism for non-nullified seats, introduce legal frameworks for transparent and challengeable internal party elections, and extend representation reforms to include local councils in accordance with Article 45. Remove members of parliament from councils and adopt provisions to appoint ministers from outside parliament. Update Article 266 to align with the Constitutional Court directives on the definition of discrimination. Conclusion. While Bill 7 includes well-meaning reforms, in its current design it threatens to undermine the democratic governance and political fairness. IPAC urges government and parliament and the civil society to work together to revise the bill in alignment with Zambia's constitutional values and public expectations and the imperative of an inclusive democracy. IPAC stands ready to support the ongoing constitutional reform process, provided that the government is ready to conduct a structured and limited public consultative process with key stakeholders and able to incorporate feedback into the amendments before they are taken to parliament or to be passed. I thank you.
Witness, thank you for your submission before this honorable committee. Honorable members, that's a submission from the witness. We are free to interact. Honorable Nakoka.
Thank you, Chair. Just one question, witness. Your comments on the proposed amendments under Article 81 has highlighted issues of salaries, and therefore you are not in support. My question then is, if this article is not touched, or if the proposed amendment is not made, how do we get rid of the ambiguity that is there in Article 81, which specifically says the term of parliament shall be 5 years, but then when it goes to define when it commences and when it ends, it specifically also says parliament shall stand dissolved 90 days before. So this contradiction in the constitution itself, do you have any thoughts on how it can be eliminated, or we should live with it? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Nyambose, then Honorable Gambito.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Mine is on Article 76 on page 12 of your presentation on the years of experience that for the position of Secretary to Cabinet. It is being proposed that let the years of experience be increased to 10 years, to 5 years, from 10 years that is existing, and you are not in support of that idea. I wanted to find out from you if you are aware that currently we only have 2 people that qualify for this position. Don't you see in future that due to nature and other things, you may not have anyone within the 10 years, and you are further proposing that the amendment should be on the experience, and you have suggested that anyone with the experience in public office. Which office specifically, when you say experience in public office, are you looking at that may be proposed for the position in the current form that beats the office of the permanent secretary? Which other office do you think that you are referring to that may help this committee to consider?
Thank you, Honorable Gambita. Then we can allow the witness to respond. This is alone, so we don't want to overload him.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Witness, I refer you to your submission on the amendments to Article 52(6), in which you seem to be agreeing with entirely, of course, on Article 52, the amendments that are being done. I think starting from Article 52(1), where you're supporting the amendments that are being done. However, you've given your opinion on Article 52(6)(a). Article 52(6) entirely has been a problem, especially where a candidate withdraws by resignation or has been disqualified by a decision of the court, the Constitutional Court, in this case, or any other court. Now, what you're suggesting here is that we insert a provision allowing a political party to nominate a replacement candidate in the event of resignation before the election. And hypothetically, this happens a day before the election date. Because the problem which has been stated here is where such a resignation or such a decision of the court disqualifying this particular candidate is occasioned just a few days before the election date. So now you are making this suggestion. Do you think this would still hold water? Because it will not be addressing the problem of cancelling the election and taking it forward to another date. And yet you are suggesting here that it goes as scheduled. So do you see the ambiguity in that one? What is your take on this?
Thank you, N.A.B. Gambita. Witness, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair. So I'll start with Article 81, which my Honorable Member of Parliament had asked. And that's why in our suggestion we are saying to say that there is need to make that you and I will know that the members of Parliament are elected from the 12 August or 13 August. It takes time to put them in either September. So there is need for us to unify that the clauses are in uniform, to say that when a member of Parliament, you say the member of Parliament, you say the member of Parliament shall vacate office from the day that they have been sworn in or the day that they have been elected, which makes it a completely 5 years, which is it's a very good observation, because 5 years most of the times it ends, it's supposed you find the Parliament gets dissolved in May. So what happens to members of Parliament? So what happens within 3 months, these 2 months, right? So there's just need for the committee, and I would recommend so that there's need to harmonize these clauses to make sure that they're in line, they're uniformity on it, so that we don't have a confusion. Because it says, so that's why we're saying, but what we had said, if we are saying our suggestions, we are saying that what we are saying that the members of Parliament can continue even receiving salaries for that particular, but what we are saying that they should not be holding office, because that would disadvantage the other candidates, because they will be all the incumbents that one carries. We saw in 2016 when the cabinet ministers were held in office in those presidential generations. We know that the Constitutional Court said the electoral resources were abused, and that disadvantage others in that particular constituencies, because you find that you are competing with somebody who is holding as a minister, and there's always an abuse of the past. So we are saying so that it should be harmonized together with all the provisions of what. On this response, I respond to Article to the Secretary to Cabinet. So the provision of Secretary to Cabinet is a very sensitive position, and we don't believe ourselves that one should be a 5 years reduced permanent secretary. No, permanent secretary are not the only ones with the motor of wisdom to run government. We have got people and civil servants in the various institutions of government, and that's why in our recommendation, because even in 2016 provisions of the bill, we made the same submission to say that the word permanent secretary, it should be removed, because it creates a discrimination, that only a permanent secretary, exploring our country, or a permanent secretary, mostly there is no clear provision on how a permanent secretary is appointed. The president can appoint anyone if he is appointed secretary. So our suggestion was that for one to become secretary to cabinet, he must have served on the public service division for at least 20 years without experience, qualifies to become secretary to cabinet.
There's one last one?
Yes, there's one last one for Article 52. So on Article 52, we were, in our suggestion on Article 52, we agree with what has been suggested. What we are trying to do entirely to say we do not want to have a situation where we wanted to protect this clause that as much as we want to make sure that elections have to go on when somebody resigns. The idea is that if a candidate resigns, let's say the one suggestion, so there must be provision in Article 52 which should be to simplify to amend it to say that if elections, if ECZ and the ECZ have within 21 days of that person who has been disqualified, if the ballot papers are not yet in the country or not yet laid available, we are trying to provide to say that a political party at that time should be allowed to the press. But if in 3 days we are saying that elections should proceed as decided.
Thank you, witness. Honorable Mwamba, then we come to Honorable Mungando and Honorable Samake.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Mine is on Article 266. Article 266 proposes to amend silent definitions such as adult, child election, and general elections. So then in your submission, you have gone to tell us that the bill has failed to remove the word discrimination, which was found in conflict with Article 23. Please, can you expand more in what you mean by remove the definition of discrimination in Article 266 and what your views are in relation to the definition of adult, child election and general election in the same article? Thank you.
Witness, I hope you're taking note. Honorable Mungando.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take the witness to Article 68E. Nominated MPs. He has said not a new provision stems from 1964 Constitution. On his comments, he said the proportional amendments are introducing safer seats under the mixed member proportional representation system, creating a more inclusive opportunities for women, youth and persons with disabilities. Additionally, political parties have been selecting parliamentary candidates based on skills. The original intent behind this provision, established in 1964, has been fully utilized. Then in his recommendation, he said this provision on nomination is no longer necessary based on the comment we have given. Witness, I want to maybe ask you this very explicit question. How sure is he that the political parties have been selecting people to stand as members of parliament based on skills? Has he looked at the skills of members of parliament compared to what is obtaining out there? Then is he sure that we have achieved this proportional representation? Already he has admitted in his submission that there is need for us to have inclusivity when it comes to women and persons with disabilities as well as youths. Any empirical data to justify this before we make a decision, Chair?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the witness can help us understand because he says the Member of Parliament, if he continues, he will disadvantage the other candidates in the forthcoming elections. As far as I'm concerned, a Member of Parliament does not have government resources at his disposal. We don't have even personal to hold vehicles. So I'm wondering how a sitting Member of Parliament will disadvantage a candidate in the imminent election.
Witness, I hope you are taking note. Honorable Sabah. Okay. What Honorable Kambita, then the witness can respond.
Thank you very much, Chair. Actually, I want to make a follow-up on the same question raised by Honorable Samakai, and I want to get a little more detail from the witness. The witness is talking about Article 81, and his fear is about the advantage that the MP will actually profit from being in office up to a day before elections. And I want to find out from the witness if they cared to find out in terms of this practice elsewhere in other jurisdictions concerning when the MP's office falls vacant. I also wanted to bring to the attention of the witness that they are aware that Parliament can actually be called during that period of time, and the MPs that will be called are the same ones that are elected for a period of 5 years. And elsewhere in the Constitution, it is also stated expressly that the MP is elected for a period of 5 years. So how then does this become a problem for the 90 days for the MP, and yet at presidential level we have never raised this issue because the president only vacates at the time the other president is sworn in? So then, what is the difference between the two, because they are both being elected to a constitutional office? Let me hear from the witness.
Witness, just in addition, there is a president and president-elect. The same is possible at that level, but while respecting your submission, do you feel that this is an issue of resources, or this is just an issue of following the specific mandate? Because issues of resources, emoluments are administrative, but where is the discomfort when people are MPs and the president are elected for 5 years? Where is the discomfort? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Very good questions. Okay, so I'll first start with Article 68 by Honorable Member of Parliament. I wanted to find out in terms of nominated members of Parliament. So you say in political parties, I want to remind the Member of Parliament that that we are organizations, we do check the website of the Parliament and we know what your CVs are and what qualifications you hold. So when I will refer to that, we are trying to say that, when you look back in the years, it was different when you check the CVs of members of Parliament, but today there seems to be an improvement. You see members of Parliament putting the accreditation of education. It shows to say that our members of Parliament, 80% of them are equal to the task and are learned. So I was basing comments on that. Then coming to talk about women representation and youth representation. Zambia so far is not doing fine in terms of women representation. Even as you will see in this room, I can only see 2 women members of Parliament, and yet women, according to our electoral register, they are the majority. So there is need that with this provision, proportional representation being suggested, I really must that we must be able to adopt as a country if we are to move as to equal representation. Then I will come to Article. The Honourable Member of Parliament wanted for Article 260. Okay, so when I said about Article 266, my focus was what the bill contains. For example, it talks about that the definitions. It talks about to redefine who is a child and who is an adult, who is a youth. So our suggestion and our submission was that redefine the word youth and child to align with international accepted human rights standards. For example, an adult, it says that it's a person who is 18 years and above. Then it says a child is a person a child is 18 years and below. Then it says a youth is somebody who is 18 years to 34 years is a youth. So we are saying a uniform definition of the laws enhance legal security and harmonize the domestic extension with the international conventions such as the United Nations Child Convention. Right?
Point of order, Chair. The question is from page 12.
Yes, yes.
Submission. Remove.
It is the constitutional court ruling, and that's why I cited
it. Could you speak a bit, not too close to the mic?
all right.
Thank you.
So when you go on the same, you because it does not make sense. It was supposed to be removed under article, the definition of dignity in article 256 if we check in our constitution. So that's why we put up the case files attached to it. So the vacancy of a member of parliament. So Chair, you realize to say that Zambia is a member of the Commonwealth, is a member of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Procedure and Principles, and the principles is that I know what you are suggesting, that there is no way the executive and the parliament or the judiciary can never sing the same language. There will always be the difference in accordance with the policy of the Commonwealth. So it is important that we adhere to those provisions and norms. So parliament, yes, there's a vital point. The drafters of the 2016 constitution should have looked at it, and I'm happy that this committee will have to look at it to say how is it that a member of parliament vacates office 3 months before the time that they were elected. So if it says, so we should amend the law to say that a member of parliament shall vacate the office on the day that they were elected and the new person has been re-elected. On the issue of the president, I will not drag the executive into a parliament. My focus was on the parliament. We will not, so there must be a separation of the policies. And that's why we talk about even in the councils. We are very clear to say that even the council, while members of parliament, we believe to say that the council are not part of the are part of the executive, local government, they form the government. So there's no way the entire parliament can also find itself in the council. But however, we have made recommendations in the detailed submission that we appeared before the technical committee that there is need for parliamentarians in each province to provide checks and balances to this council in order to promote accountability and discipline, especially when you look at a lot of disputes that we have seen going on in terms of land disputes. There is need to create a provision in the constitution to say that before a councillor or the council passes a lease of the land, the members of parliament, a bill or a minutes will be taken to that particular province or parliament for a committee that looks for local government in order to approve, in order to provide discipline and accountability. So on the issue of the nominated member of parliament, so if the bill will proceed to go as it is, because the idea of introduction of the nominated members of parliament was to help the president maybe to pick or maybe to balance up in terms of whom does he bring to parliament in terms of representation. The original purpose of it was to, in those days, it was to pick maybe one from the chiefs, maybe to pick one from the minority groups, they say the person with disabilities. Now, if the PPR system is going to succeed, mixed member, then there's no need to have nominated members of parliament, because already the provision is already created for people to compete. Or what we're trying to avoid, we're trying to say that you can't have somebody just been nominated and becomes a member of parliament. No, that's why we say that if a constituency will be created in each province reserved to say these seats are reserved for persons with disabilities, they have to compete themselves. In what I'm trying to say that in the other way, the people must be given the legitimacy to elect candidates amongst from those that will be standing, so that there's that legitimacy of people being elected that house. Unlike the way what others have said, no, just nominate, because nomination, the members of parliament, we want people to compete. We don't want people to be forced to come to the house. We want people to compete, people who have passion, so that even as parliamentary are taking place, we are able to say that, okay, we are very happy that this person stood same for the youth. Just because I'm a youth, it doesn't guarantee one to say I have to come to parliament. No, I must be given a chance in a constituency where there are youths ourselves and compete. Because in a democracy, it's about competition, and the basic winner wins and takes it. That's how it's all about. So that's our recommendation. Unlike the way it is being proposed, political party, I say no. They must be subjected to an election. People must be subjected to an election. If it was stand person with disabilities, if it is women, let them be subjected to an election. The whole idea is that the people, electrical confidence will always be given immunity to the people. At least members of parliament should have that immunity of being elected by the people, unlike being nominated. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, witness, for your submission. Any other witness? Acton Institute for Policy Analysis Center, we would like to thank you for appearing before this select committee appointed by the Speaker to scrutinize Constitutional Amendment Bill number 7. And at this time we would like to lift your immunity, which was given to you as you made your submission. You may now enjoy the greater immunity as a researcher outside there. And we can only wish you well and have a good weekend. And thank you once more for the comprehensive submission, which will help this committee to formulate a report on this particular constitutional amendment bill. I thank you.
I thank you, Chair.
Being with us on Parliament Television, the Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025 is just from receiving submissions from Action Institute for Policy Analysis. Just to make mention that this witness is the third witness for today. The Select Committee has so far received submissions from Human Rights Commission and also Zambia Institute for Policy Analysis and Research, ZIPA. And the object of this bill is to amend the Constitution of Zambia so as to revise the composition of the National Assembly to provide for the increase in the number of constituency-based seats from 156 to 211 to actualize the delimitation report by the Electoral Commission, and also to revise the electoral system for election to the National Assembly to provide for a mixed member proportional representation electoral system to guarantee the representation of women, youths and persons with disabilities. So these are just among others. My name is Matimba Mkua on live commentary and on sign language. I'm joined by Jason Manda. Keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon.